ashes burn in the snow on the night it's our turn.
All right, action starting here with a looks like a
Cartel space.
cartel. That's the one.
Just forgot the name. Recognized it.
Couldn't remember the 2-3 guy. So what are you thinking here?
Yodakiller back.
Yeah, what are you thinking on the matchup here? These two guys.
So Cad Bane is another deck that likes to go. It's a little slower than the aggro decks, but it's faster than Anakin. It doesn't have a lot going for it in the fact that the leader is again blanked almost entirely. The ping can take off the shield from client, but it is going to be a deck that just plays units and swings. Missing turn 3, I think, is very good for the Bossk player, as the board is now empty going into the 4 resource turn, and they can start playing the removal they have in hand on the next card played. Bossk does also get to come out the turn prior to Cad Bane. Although Jabba is not an easy card to answer, so he is hoping for a power, but he does have a perilous position, which will make it a 0/6. And potentially not be useful. Although the Maclunky kind of blanks the perilous position.
Interesting deck placement over on the side.
I think that comes from a lot of Magic players, if I had to guess. Me a while to stop putting it in the upper right corner when I play. So I think the Bossk choice to claim instead of just playing any removal on turn 4 was a good decision. He doesn't really end up behind it all, and he can play a Vanquish onto the Jabba and hope that the Bossk flip answers what's played next. Much cleaner than either using the perilous position or just playing useless cards, especially after seeing the Maclunky come into play. So I think the Bossk unit is a good sign for the Bossk player, as it is not the strongest 5-drop the deck could have deployed, and it does die to the takedown that I believe is in the hand of the Bossk player.
It looks like I think this is John. I'm assuming this is John versus Yodakiller. So we've got someone asked the record. It looks like Yodakiller's 4-1 and John on the Bossk is 5-0. And Top Gamer said a left-handed Magic player like me.
So a shoot first is going to come down, which is going to allow the Bossk to kill the Bossk leader with the Bossk attack trigger, or the event trigger, dealing the 2.
Yeah.
It seems like he's opting to have the event trigger happen second. Or I guess it is required since the event needs to resolve first. So he will take the damage. The shoot first will not allow it to go damageless. And it will then die to a vigilance. Cad Bane flip here is pretty strong. This is not the best position for Bossk to be in, as the board can now insulate. I think if he has the Greedo as well, it would have been a very difficult position for Bossk. Unfortunately, Greedo is not available. But he will have 2 units, both attacking as 4-power units. The Cad Bane having 8 health, which takes it out of range of pretty much everything. But it will die to a potential rival's fall. Although I don't believe we've seen any from the Bossk player in the last match.
I'm seeing like an entrenched in there. Looks like a perilous.
Entrenched and perilous, I think, are very nice into this board. But
vigilance, maybe a power. Top target.
Definitely top target. Looks like he's resourcing the entrenched. Don't know if I like the entrenched resource. It seems like a good answer to Cad Bane. Perilous position is an option to be used, but it doesn't solve the fact that it has raid 2.
Seeing some video issues on their end here. Bringing the video in.
It did cut a little bit. It was while the Bossk player played a Power of the Dark Side, which took out the Forlom. And the Cad Bane player played a Cloud Rider, which is a very good decision, I think, here. It allows you to have a unit to sack to a potential second Power of the Dark Side and not have it be a strong unit. The top target will be played on the Cad Bane with 3 resources left. Potential of a lined up perilous position to reduce its power. Though it's not the greatest answer. We have seen 3 resources tapped for a smuggled hotshot blaster. And Cad Bane played this turn really well. Cloud Rider Insulate never opened up his leader to the potential Power of the Dark Side and allowed as much damage as possible to go through. But he did have the Super Laser, which will clear the leader. It will gain the 6 from top target, putting it 4-4 on bases. And I think from here it is not looking great for Cad Bane. He really needed to fade the Super Laser. He will only play 1 unit with a claim from with Bossk. Bossk has the potential of an Avenger clearing the board and really claiming tempo for the remainder of this game.
So are we just hoping just the super lasers, all 3 of them just get tucked on the bottom of the deck and just that's how you win? Like that's our plan here.
I think main board it's very possible that that's the plan. I think sideboard there's a good chance that he's bringing Bazines in and you have the ability to smuggle Bazine, not discard a card from your hand, maintain a lot of cards, and Bazine both insulates the Cad Bane from a Power of the Dark Side while also stripping the Super Laser, which allows you to go a little wider on the board. We do have a punishing 1 followed by there can only be 2, which allows the Cad Bane unit to be played for 5 total resources and capture the Avenger.
That was pretty hot.
Definitely a good step forward for the Cad Bane player. It was a good recovery. It's going to be harder to answer both units. So you are once again hoping to fade the Super Laser, which I think is a statistical odd that you need to play toward once the first one comes out, especially in a deck that can't go a whole game.
That's not what you want to see. Just a perfect answer. Fell the dragon. Just bam.
Yeah.
Get my Avenger back. I mean, that is not great.
Thankfully, the Avenger will not trigger when played when it comes back, but it does not look good. Cad Bane player has played very strong lines. I think he's played very smart. I think this matchup is just not one the Bossk player really has to worry about overall.
Bossk.
Like it is going to be an Avenger for a Vigilance to start the mill, remove some of the resources, and go down to 2 damage on base.
Just really good stuff coming out of the Bossk player here. John G.
He's going to Bazine. We're going to see a Daring Raid, a Death Mark, and a Perilous Position. Not the best hand overall. I think the Death Mark is very strong.
Let's let him keep him.
I don't know. I think I would have taken the Death Mark. Because between Death Mark onto Bazine, I guess with a Cad Bane follow-up, it makes sense not to take it.
Getting the Cad Bane, getting that Avenger again. Interesting.
Seems like they're... Can't quite tell. I believe he drew a Bloodsport and potentially drew a Vanquished.
We're making some progress right now. We're just trying to figure out exactly how this will pan out.
I think the board development was very good. The Bloodsport will come down, deal the 2 to Bazine, the 2 to the Cad Bane. Cad Bane is currently a 5/5 with 2 damage. Only at 3 left. Is dead to Vigilance, or the Death Mark, Ping from Bossk, and Daring Raid will be able to kill it. But yeah, I think the Bozine, I would have wanted the Bozine to take Deathmark, I think. Because though it gives him the card, it prevents the draw 2 coming out later, and prevents the Bossk tap ability from being able to go online. Although it does prevent him from just drawing answers. Bossk seems to be thinking about what he wants to do next. He has to solve the current board, and there are a lot of resources available for the Cad Bane player.
I mean, this is the Yodakiller's chance this game. I mean, this is the one. We gotta get the win here.
He has the Maclunky. Oh, huge.
That is really good.
Maclunky to blank the draw 2 from the death threat, as the unit will be bounced and not defeated. Bounce is the only way to circumvent bounties. Daring Raid will clear up the punishing one. The Maclunky was forced to put damage onto a unit. Punishing one was the one chosen. But we will see the Bozine. Nope. Crafty Smuggler come down. Seemed the Bossk player even thought the Bozine was going to come back. Hopefully there's something else big. I think the Zuckuss play is very good. I think a super laser here would probably be game, just about straight up.
Looks like Merciless.
Because the Avenger.
Merciless, Entrenched. Can't see the middle card.
The
like
card
maybe-
appears to be a client.
Looks like a client.
Yeah, definitely a client. Not really what you want to be seeing, unfortunately. He will get in for the most amount of damage possible for the 6 from the Zuckuss.
Entrenched does put a hamper on that Cad there. It was already weakened though with the Merciless or Shrunk.
I think he's trying to slow as much damage as possible and prevent... The Cad Bane's not one that he wants to bring back with Maclunky, as the Avenger would come back and he'd have to replay the Cad, which he has the resources to do it, but I think it is a better play to at least have the Avenger have the chance of coming back. All in one turn. So you're praying for the second super laser. The deck does run 3. Is what he's trying to find. Merciless contest is not exactly where we want to be here. We'll get rid of the punishing one. A Bozine will come down. See a fine addition and a client.
Just let them keep
He will
them.
let them keep them. Yep. Definitely the best option there.
Just need to push here. We need some kind of just pump in there. Some blaster or something. I don't know.
Blaster would be nice. Get in for the 8, especially knowing that there really is no removal that you have to worry about currently. We will see a top target come down on the Zuckuss, which I think is a good choice, since kind of has to... He knows the Cad Bane has to take the actions to start attacking, so he has at least one play. So might as well line that up. If you can get to the super laser, it'll insulate your health total for a little while. Cad seems pretty happy about... He should be pretty happy about the way the board is positioned right now, and it'll be a question of how much more he wants to dedicate. He only has one real attacker in the Zuckuss, and if a Vanquish comes out with initiative, it's not the best.
Looks like another bricked hand. I'm seeing like a client, a takedown. A takedown, I guess, does do some work.
Well, the takedown will do it now, but only after taking 6. But a
Ooh.
Bozine to try to clear out what would kill the Zuckuss. So the takedown will be gone. He's hoping for a redraw on something that does something. A pillage is not going to do much, unfortunately. Bossk player is not looking to be in the best position anymore. Cad player has played this exceptionally this game.
Yeah, Noah Lee making a good comment about Bossk and maybe Pout being in a good spot meta-wise with the low amount of Sabine in the event.
So the client did end up dying to the Forlom ambush. As a Zuckuss being in play, gave it +1/+1 and Saboteur. So it took 2. It seems it then got Daring rated for 2 damage, which I don't believe should have killed the Zuckuss. I believe that Forlom should have lived through the Daring raid.
The Zuckuss giving it extra health, so it should have survived it. Yeah.
So good draws from the Bossk player, finally finding some of the removal. Yeah, agreed. The Forlom appears to... Unsure if the Forlom should have died. Forlom probably should be alive, which means the Cad Bane player should have a little more pressure on board. True. True, the Forlom would have died the turn after to the Fell top deck, so I think ultimately it does not matter. Peril's position to solve the Ruthless Laters for 1 turn, allowing Cad to only take 3 damage here. He is in a very bad position, as 1 attack for 4 will leave him dead to the Ruthless Raiders' death trigger. So I believe it's Super Laser or Bust this turn. Believe?
I'm not seeing a Super Laser in hand.
I am not either.
I think we're going to game 2.
Perilous position onto the Ruthless Raiders. Tap it down, make it a 0-2. Would be 4 in from Bossk, putting base damage up to 28. And a Krite, unfortunately, will not keep him alive. And we will be going to game 2. Cad Bane up 1 game.
Nice job by Yodakiller there to navigate his way through.
Very well piloted. Though very unlucky for the Bossk as well to not find the 2nd or 3rd Super Laser.
I think we're just seeing really good piloting here. Like we had the 1 miss trigger, but I mean, besides that, it's just been really clean from both players, really.
Agreed. So going into game 2, Cad Bane, we know, has Bazines in the main board, which is definitely going to be a strong aspect in this. The Maclunky package, although not the strongest into removing units in this matchup, being able to recur the Bazine is very strong, as well as being able to bounce any units that have the bounty placed on or that were entrenched. Gives you a pseudo upgrade removal that's pretty strong.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
Yes. Top 8 Gamer has pointed out that there might have been an option for the Bossk player to deathmark the Cad Bane and then ping it with a Bossk and kill it with a Daring Raid, which would have given the chance for the Avenger to come back. And that might have been able to stabilize the board from there, especially if Cad Bane didn't have another way to follow up and answer.
Yeah, maybe prioritize trying to kill that Cad, get that Avenger back. We didn't really see that. It was interesting seeing the boss player just in this top deck mode, whereas last time against the previous opponent he was flush with cards.
True.
What do you think?
First match he saw.
Yeah, what accounted for that?
First match he saw. So in the previous match he saw, I think, 3 death marks and 2 fine additions that brought back death marks, along with 1 death mark being a double draw. This match he only saw 1 death mark and ended up playing Fine Edition once, which accounted for 4 draws instead of the, I think, 12 that he would have gotten in the previous match. It's also the control decks. Main board, there's a handful of cards that are required for aggro countering, which cause your hand to sometimes flood with multiple top targets, multiple clients, which is not where you really want to be. I think he ended up with a lot of removal that, while good against the more typical aggro decks, didn't line up well into the predominant 1/3s that Cad Bane has as their cheap units between Bazine, Cartel Spacer with 3 toughness. We will see a Bazine kick off for the very first turn, showing a power of the dark side, the client, perilous position, and super laser blasts.
You just grab that blast, right, and just make him play with 2.
Tempting. It's definitely a strong option. Removing the client now is also not horrible if the Cad Bane's player's hand is fast enough that he thinks he can go under and get enough damage on base. Cad could potentially be boarding in Krite Dragons, so if he can get the base to above 25 damage, Krite Dragon can just spell lethal because of it. I do think the Super Laser being removed and planning to go a little longer is a fine option. Probably the best one, unless the hand really allowed for a faster play. We'll see the power take the Bazine out with a Boba rededicated to the board.
I think Yodakiller is really happy with this entire sequencing that just occurred here. We got this super laser in the discard. They had to use a power of the dark side on a 1/3 Bazine. Then we followed up with a strong, 3-cost unit.
I think I would have wanted to see the Bazine or the client come down the turn prior. The client will die to the, I believe it was the Tarkin Town that took the client out. The 4-Lam attacked, triggering the Cad Bane to ping the shield, apply 4 damage. I believe he used the Tarkin Town to clear the client out. Good use of Tarkin Town, as it is not very relevant in this matchup. And health points also don't really matter on the Cad Bane side. So I think the option of taking advantage of the Tarkin Town at any opportunity definitely merited. So the top target landed on the 4-Lam to allow the perilous position to kill it. Net gain the 2 health from top target healing 6, 4-Lam only dealing the 4. Boba into base this turn again, bringing it to 4 damage, followed by Bossk flip, a Zuckuss play for 1 damage on the Bossk, and it seems like the Bossk player chose not to use the Bossk attack. Hand's looking like Krite Dragon, Vanquish, Entrenched, and Deathmark for the Bossk player. Although I'm a little surprised he's holding the Krite Dragon so early. We will see the Entrenched onto his own Bossk, bringing the stat line up to a 7-8.
And the Deathmark in hand is going to be hard to really stop that 4 draw, which is going to get him closer to his late endgame.
Agreed. I think that was a very smart play by the Bossk player. I think the choice to put the Deathmark on the Boba also highlights that he wants to vanquish the Zuckuss next turn and have less damage on his Bossk, although he will...
Ooh, That is
Yeah.
really strong. That is really good.
Very well timed Maclunky. Going to prevent Bossk from being able to pick up any extra cards this game, it seems. And it will leave the Bossk players, Bossk, not quite dead to the Cad Bane flip, unfortunately.
Maclunky really doing some heavy lifting here, man.
Yeah. Card has outperformed what it should do in this game. For sure. Seems the Bossk player passed action back to Cad Bane. Unsure if he wants to attack the Bossk at the Cad Bane leader. But he will get the 1 more damage, so he is now dead to the Cad Bane attack. Should he choose to attack the Bossk? We will go looking for a trick. So I assume he has found options, as he's now checking his resource pool and his hand. He's gotten an additional Maclunky. So the Bossk will trade with the Zuckuss now, as saving it is not very much an option anymore. Cad Bane will flip, attack for 4. We will move on to the next turn with the Bossk with initiative. It's looking very good for Cad Bane right now. It doesn't appear to be any... Oh, very unfortunate. Vanquishing a Jabba the Hutt, although it's one of the few pieces that actually kill it, you are forced to use a card on a 2/8. I think this might be nearing the end of this match. I think if Super Laser is missed this 1 turn, it might be over. Cad Bane answers are going to be few and far between. I think a top target client draw is not where the deck wants to be. So it does appear that he will be taking 8 this turn, putting him to 28. A Hotshot Blaster will spell lethal. A 28 is a number that will cause Ruthless Raiders to kill him if it dies. The top targets would heal first.
Just really smooth stuff here from Cad. I mean, the stuff's coming in just perfectly.
He has drawn what he needs, and he has played them very well throughout the end. He's maintained the resources up to do whatever he needs to. He's played very slowly. He's insulated the important units, kept a lot of power on base. Bossk, I believe, will be forced to claim here and hope to draw Super Laser. Bossk draws have been very bad. He's drawn a lot of top targets, a lot of clients. I think he saw all 3 clients this game, with 1 being played, 1 resourced from the starting hand, and 1 resourced this turn. Top targets, there's 2 in play, and he played the 1... I believe he played 1 earlier on the Forlom this game. So he has found all 3 of both of those. No draw of a Super Laser will spell the end for the Bossk player. Cad Bane will take this 2-0.